guaranteed of the same, that today you don't have to have something so that you can access credit. But then again, just how much of a safe space is this more, to what it is that it was considered then? It was largely a danger and it was a risk. Today, I know, I do not know you, but if I'd want to access credit, perhaps you'd be flexible enough to give me. Does it not pose a danger in this space of credit, or is it more of a plus?
That is a good question. There are two things that you need to look at. Now, you've mentioned, I work for Ngao Credit.
Yes.
And Ngao Credit, we mostly focus on emergency financing. So that is where you'll walk in, and you get to know each other for a few minutes, do a little bit of check, and then I would assess your capability and your ability to access credit from Ngao. But that is another story. There are cases where you need to be known for you to access credit. Now, if I am looking as Ngao Credit, we use security. I will use the value and the weight of your security based on your history of your cash flows and how you've been operating. Then I will use that and assess you. Of course, technology makes it easier for us to do that. Yeah. But on the other hand, generally as a Kenyan business person or an individual, there needs to be a history that will give you the opportunity to access credit. I don't think there is any lender out here who would wake up and say, I want to give anybody money. Right. They have to have a history of who you are, either with them or outside there. And most of Kenyans today, we transact via mobile money. So we will be able to check the statements of your mobile money transfers, and we will assess and see, are you able and are you qualified to access the kind of financing that you need? Right. So basically, history is important. Very important. We need to look at that. And then for responsible lenders like Ngao Credit, we'll also look at the need for the credit that you're looking at. So those would weigh deeper into how you access finance.
So is this something that then you can clearly label a loan, or there's quite a distinct difference between a loan and a credit?
Loan and credit is
more or less the
same thing.
More or less the same thing.
Yes. So when you borrow, how do you access to credit is you're looking at a business perspective. A business perspective, you want to meet your business needs. You want to do your supplies and things like that. Okay. Yeah, but sometimes you also look at it when you go into loan. Probably you're narrowing it down into probably to meet your personal needs. Okay. Yes, but it's all in the definition and how you understand
So anytime a person would come to you, of concern would be what they want to do with the money or what it is that they're going to access from you?
Yeah, responsible lending is a matter of, because I wouldn't want to give you money and you are unable to repay. You understand? Yeah. For me, as a responsible lender, and this is the policy of Ngao Credit, you have to understand what is the need of the client. Yeah. Because it is the need of the client, because again, you don't want to give somebody money and they're not able to pay. Yeah. You understand? So is the need, are they able and are they capable of doing what? Of servicing the loan that you've given them. That would be the most important thing that for me, that I would check. Okay.
Are there limits to this in terms of the amount of money that one can access? For instance, I'll come to your office, we do a bit of due diligence, we do a bit of background check to understand whether this person is eligible to getting these finances, and perhaps someone will tell you, well, I have a business running down there, and you confirm that the business is functional, and so it's just about a boost of this business. Are there limits to the amounts of money that one can access?
Yes, there are limits. There are limits. For like the institution I work with, Ngao Credit, we have a limit. We give a minimum of 100,000, but up to 5 million. So that would give me the space that I talk about. But this is also subject to the security that you have in place for the loan. Okay. So that would limit you, security. But other than that, we also look at your capability, your ability to service the loan. Right. So we don't just, you might have a big security, but your ability to service the loan is not there. So are you able to commit to servicing the loan? Commitment would also be a factor that I will check in.
All right.
Yes.
And most of the people perhaps would be thinking of setting up SMEs or setting up small businesses here and there. Of what importance is, the aspect of credit access to such businesses?
most people are not lucky to have got savings or to look at family wealth to start their businesses. So, like most Kenyans, I know, you have dreams and you have ambition and you want to be able to see them into fruition. So it is not everybody that has got that backing of the family or savings or good jobs that they can say, I have got enough money for that. So basically, you'll have to look into credit financing so that you are able to meet your needs. Yeah, and it's also very tricky. And like I think it's when you talk about saving culture, Kenya, our saving culture is a debate that we might not start in this show.
Yeah.
So we will be, the options that most Kenyans have today is to go and access credit from the financial institutions that exist. That is the most viable option, and it's sometimes it's most of the time the only option that Kenyans have is to borrow. Yeah.
With inflation and all these complaints on just how stable we are economically in the country and beyond, must be a risky affair if you'd want to call it. What is the market like for you, and generally, do you suppose that we can be better, we can function better from what it is that we are at right now?
How would I say this? There has been very few times that I've heard, especially from you guys in the media, that the economy is doing well and everybody is happy.
It's always bad.
It's always bad.
Bad.
I don't know. I don't remember the last time when I heard that people said it was good.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, like when you walk out here on the road, you see people buying new cars. People are building new homes.
Interestingly.
So, what is it that they do that you don't have to do? And again, in life, you cannot live always with negative perceptions. Things are going to be bad. Things are bad, yes. So what do you do about it?
Yeah.
What do you do about it? What options do you have? Not doing something or doing something?
Doing something.
So for me, I always say, do something about it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
I don't think life is easy, but you do something about it to walk up with hope and start a business, hoping that it will be okay. There are people who start businesses. You remember in 2020 we had COVID.
Yes.
There are people who prospered in COVID. As people were saying, it's a lockdown.
That's true.
Yeah, there are people who are doing very well. There are people who are doing deliveries to the homes and they were having more orders than ever. So everybody has to look at the silver lining and say, yes, the economy is in trouble, but we can't all sit down and start moping and crying that things will be better. Things will be better. Get up, work, take risks, and we live through it. Okay. Yeah, that's my philosophy, and that's how I think about it.
So, what, for instance, I want to come to Ngao or any other, finance entity or any entity that would finance me. What are some of the things that I need to look at, say, as a person who is in business, maybe an individual? Because just like you do due diligence, I think it will be in order for the client to as well know what is this finance company that I am dealing with.
I think I've said this even in a different forum. There's something called the fine print. The fine print. Most clients, and I would say these most Kenyans, there is this thing of sign here, sign here, sign here. When it is digital, is accept, is it agree and move? I've read the terms and I agree. Yeah. And people click that box so fast. When you walk into a financial institutions like Ngao Credit, for instance, ask questions. As a client, you have to ask questions. If you don't ask questions, you don't know the terms and conditions of what you're getting in. You don't even know the story of the company. Go online. For instance, go on Google and see what kind of feedback do these people have. How do they treat their clients? You understand? And for instance, today, in the microfinance space where we are as Ngao, we have been regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. Yeah. The Central Bank of Kenya's website has got the regulated microfinances. Go deal with somebody who is regulated and licensed to operate. Yeah. If you deal with somebody who is in the back streets and they treat you poorly, whom do you have to blame? There are people who are regulated, licensed to operate. Work with those people. Ngao Credit is one of them. It's in the website of, of the Central Bank of Kenya. It's in the Kenya Gazette. Then before you sign and you take up a facility, you're given terms and conditions of this. Have you read through them? Have you understood them? But again, if you cannot be able to read, sometimes it is also, I know sometimes the terms are a little bit lawyerly to use that word. Why don't you take time and ask somebody to read through with you? For me, I always advise my agents and my officers to take our clients through the fine print.
Yeah.
Let answer their questions, and that would be important. But for you as an individual, again, you should also ask yourself, why do I need this? Is it necessary? Is it really, really, really necessary? You know, most of the times we tend to borrow money because it's available.
Yeah.
Because it's available. You look at the way, I know you look at the way we've dealt with these mobile loans. The moment they send you a text that you have mobile money available, right, instantly a need arises. That need was not there, but a need arises and it becomes an emergency, and you cannot live without borrowing that money. Are you able to avoid that temptation? Those are the questions that you should ask yourself. Is it really necessary? What will happen if I don't take the money? Because again, borrowing requires you to repay. Tunasema kukopa ni harusi, kulipa ni matanga.
And generally speaking, ni matanga. Whoever said that.
So I would urge our viewers to, as much as it is tempting, you will meet Ngao Credit agents out there. They're giving you flyers and they will talk in very flowery terms. That is good. I teach them that. But at the end of the day, the decision is yours. Are you making a prudent decision? Are you doing the right choice for you or your business or your family? Those are the things that you have to ask yourself and say, what would happen if I don't take this money?
Right. Let's talk about, Ngao, briefly on what it is that you do, what it is that you offer, to what limits, to individuals, to businesses, limits in terms of time, that if I march to Ngao today and I mean, you look at my documents, you look at what it is that I have presented to you, and you're satisfied, then you can accord me a loan. What timelines are we looking at until I'm able to access this money?
Let me say, basically, Ngao Credit, as an institution, it was established to serve the underserved. We realized that long time, just over a decade ago, most Kenyans have been struggling to find accessible financing. And when you go to bank, the traditional banks, they are based on the prudential guidelines of the bank and the central bank. They are not able to give money to everybody. The terms and conditions are very difficult. So Ngao Credit was established to look at individuals, entrepreneurs who are looking for quick financing to either bridge capital or to meet their needs, especially emergency needs. So we look at our products are tailor-made to meet individual needs. And we have a line of products. I might not go into all of them. Between 1 month and 18 months, our terms are on monthly basis because we meet people who have different needs and different time frames. So we give you between 1 month, sometimes 18 months, and we go up to 24 months. You understand?
Right.
We go up to 2 years so that you can be able to access money with Ngao Credit. We have short-term loans that go up to 3 months, but we have long-term that go up to 24 months. And even for asset finance, sometimes you even go up to 3 years, depending on the needs of the client and how easy it is for them. So basically 1 month to 2 years, sometimes you have to go up to 36 months, depending on the needs of the client and what kind of product they have taken with us.
Right.
Yes, we give 100,000 up to 4 million and 5 million for existing clients.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and I mean, there are basics, and I think these ones would cut across, that one then requires to come with. Forget about, a logbook, forget about a title deed, forget about those quite, heavy requirements, yeah? What are some of the basics that then one would want to present?
The most important thing we look at is your history of how you deal with cash. What is your cash flow like? Do you normally transact? How do you transact? Because You can walk into any of Ngao branches today, and they will be able to process for you money. Within 6 hours to 12 hours, you should be having money. So we are not able to have that intimate conversation to understand basically how things work with you. So we will only look at you through the past, through the lens of the past. So that would be important. And then we will also do a background check on who you are.
Yeah.
And that is basically it. Yeah.
That's very, very important. All right. It's quite a delicate space. What would you say the market is like? And I know we've said it's a difficult market now in terms of business, in terms of Kenyans, being flexible to accessing credit, in terms of Kenyans accepting this mode of access of credit, contrary to what we had originally conditioned ourselves to, the banks and all that. And yeah,
the market, I would say in two ways. Number one, the market is big, because you see, like the microfinance, we disburse close to $500 million plus a month, and those are just regulated ones.
Right.
So it's the uptake for credit is huge. The appetite is there.
Yeah.
Now there is another aspect of repayment. Sometimes a lot of clients struggle with repayment. Yeah, and that is basically because of the economy. So I wouldn't blame it too much on the clients, but the repayment is not as it was. I've been in this sector for almost a decade. So the repayment is not as it used to be. But again, you have to just kaza built at tuendelee mbele.
Yes. All right. The risks that come along with this, and especially for you as lenders, just how easy is it to manage them and to keep staying afloat? Because that also is very, very important. And like you rightfully say, and people have gotten to spaces where they borrow Peter to pay Paul or vice versa. And, now when it comes to the question of payment, it's a problem. And you will not tell me that you say it's okay, we understand it's because the economy is bad, that now we have to accommodate this.
The risk is high. Over the last 5 years, I've seen microfinances come and go, because they give people money that they never receive back. Yeah. So you end up eating the entire capital that you have. And that is a very risky position to be at. It is not a rosy place to be at, because sometimes it is very difficult. Sometimes you have to auction people.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that it is all rosy. It requires a lot of patience, and sometimes you have to be very, very tough. You understand? Because it is not very, very rosy today in the space that we are in. However, for people who have experience, you see, like Ngao Credit, we have gone through this experience for so many years. Yeah. So you realize that sometimes it is not collecting, is who you lend to.
Yeah, it's who you lend to.
Is who you lend to. Because we know that this person might not be able to honor this. And with the experience over time, the picture comes in through.
Yeah.
So not everybody that comes through Ngao Credit wanting to borrow will get money. That is not a promise I can make. Yeah. Because we have to do due diligence. Right. And that is what saves us from this rate of default. Because I also have responsibility to the shareholders. Yes. I can't just tell them economy in Mbaya. They will not understand that.
Understand.
You understand? So you have to be responsible in who you give money to. But genuinely we support business people and individuals who have got genuine needs, and they are focused on ensuring that at the end of the day, they meet what they have to meet.
So staying afloat then is a clear indication that there are numerous success stories that we can look at and say, well, that's the reason why.
Yeah, you see, there are a lot of success stories.
Right.
There are a lot of success. When I speak to clients, I'm going around meeting my clients countrywide this next month. And whenever I meet our clients, you hear that story. You hear that story that is very, very personal. And again, you say, okay, it's good to wake up again and do this again. Sometimes the success stories are the ones that make it worthwhile. You hear somebody like you find a client, their staff are going to go unpaid. They did a tender somewhere. They have not been ordered. Hawana pesa. like right now is end month.
Yeah.
Most people are coming to me to give them money to do what? To pay salaries for their employees. They did tenders somewhere, they have not been paid, they're still waiting for the payment to come, they have to. And you realize that these employees have got children, they have families to take care of. So you have to get the business running. So when I speak to such clients, I realize that we're actually doing something good. The success stories sometimes are more than the stories that are not very nice.
Right.
But sometimes in life, sometimes the bad stories always are louder than the success stories. But all in all, for me, I am proud of what we've done to change people's lives.
Right.
And that is what makes us wake up every other morning, to just keep doing it, keep going there, and just trying to change lives and make Kenya a better place.
How's the government making it? Is it easy? Is it making it hard and difficult for entities such like yours to, survive, to stay afloat? Because like it or not, there's always a connection to just how the government functions. And that's why we go out there to vote and we say, well, we hope with the next government, things are going to be easy. Business is going to flow as expected. How is it making it for you?
Okay. Over the last 3 years, there has been a government intervention in our space. We had last year, I think is it last year? Yeah, last year there was an act of parliament that walked into our space to create regulation. That would be the biggest government intervention in our sector, because our sector, there was a lot. I don't know if you can remember last year. I think last year or last year about one, there was a lot of outcry on the social media. Predatory lenders, unachotwa, they send text to your bosses, all that kind of stuff. And people are auctioning their cars, interest rates that are amok, and all that. The government has come to create sanity in our space, and that has weeded out a lot of very, very bad people in the sector. So that I would say the government has come in to help us to sanitize, so that at least only the good people or only the focused people are in the space. So that would be one thing about the government. But again, government regulation. You see, sometimes when things don't work in the government, it's spillover. You remember, is it last month or I think the previous month, the government could not meet salaries on time.
Yes.
That affects me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because I'm waiting for people to get money from the government
so
to
that
pay
they can pay you.
Yes.
Okay.
So you find that people like, I know there are microfinances who lend to civil servants.
Yeah.
And there's no way you're going to go, because the security of the loan is in the payslip.
Yes.
Currently, Ngao does not lend to civil servants, or we stopped it a few years ago. But when such happens, you realize that you expected installments close to maybe $1 billion.
Yeah.
None of it is coming. And there is nothing you can do, because they'll tell you it's on the news.
Yes, you can evidently see.
It's on the news. So, those are the sectors. And for me, like I know county governments really, really had a big hit on me, because most of my clients, they supply to the county government. The money has not been remitted to the county government, so they have not been paid.
And so they won't pay you.
So they won't pay me.
And you have to increase the interest, which again is a problem.
So you have to charge them penalties.
Yeah.
And you see, sometimes it looks very unfair, because you clearly can understand they have not been paid. So government has a way in which it interferes with our sectors. The only positive thing is it has brought in regulation, so that at least we save. But if government does not spend, I make no money.
Yeah.
So that is a challenge, and you all understand. I heard you guys debating here the economies and the finance bill. All that has got a ripple effect, because it affects the local man. That affects me.
Who is your client?
Because I work there at the local man level.
Well, I know this is quite a huge, space to discuss, and there's much that we would have discussed. But I hope that we can invite you some other time for more and more of this. But before we close, your parting shot in about 30 seconds, and as well as you tell people who would want to access credit from your entity, how they get a hold of you.
I would say that please, for the viewers listening, Go to the www.ngaocredit.com. There is a form there, fill in, we'll call you anytime. Our agents are out there. We have offices all over the country. We are credible, we are licensed and regulated. So we speak with authority that all our clients will be taken care of. Karibu Ngao Credit, and thank you so much for hosting us.
It's a pleasure.
We will come another day.
Thank you so much. I mean, just getting people to that space of understanding finances is very, very important. And there's no better way of getting to understand this than talking to a person who's been there long enough, who, functions in this very space. Then before you get into, getting a loan or credit, basic information is very, very important. Due diligence equally